Hello and good morning, folks. This is Midnight Brands coming to you with live prep on Monday, March 20th, 2023. Hopefully, everybody had a great weekend and is ready to come into the market and get ready for it. Should be, as always, a lovely week. I got a lot of fun news with FOMC and whatnot, and should set up for some very nice things. As always, reminder, folks, we are not financial analysts, not financial advisors. Nothing we say should by any means be taken as a buy or sell recommendation. Do your own research, check out your own stuff, and go from there. So with that, we'll go ahead and get started. We've had some time this morning to go through and flip through a bunch of things and try to get some stuff ready and whatnot. And so with that, I'm going to go ahead and go kick off some other things here in our rooms. I am going to do a couple of real quick things as we get ready for it. Just some ground housekeeping stuff. 'I think there's actually some earnings left this week too, which sounds odd, but I think there's just a handful of earnings left. Yeah, like I think Nike is probably the biggest one of the bunch, and there's some other ones out there, but not really worth a big mention. So yeah. Just one more sec, folks. We're just kind of typing up some of the crap we have to type all the time every week ahead of time. So just getting that set. For Monday, March 20th. Recording live prep. Oops. Okay, and with that, folks, let's go ahead and we'll flip screens here. And we will start off with SVXY, and I'm going to join our other room and say beautiful good morning. Hello and good morning.
Good morning, good morning. How are you, sir?
Doing great, and you?
Fantastic, man. Another beautiful morning.
Yes, it is. I was listening to, not listening, I was watching the March Madness games this weekend, and they were talking with the interim head coach for Texas and his players, and one of the things they asked him was like, what makes this guy so great? Like, why do you like him? You know, all the stuff that happened with the other coach and whatnot. He goes, you know, he's just got such a great positive attitude. Every morning, it's like, it's a great day to be alive. You know, I'm like, dude, it's like Cesar's brother. Like, what's, you know.
It's good, man. It's great. Gotta have that outlook.
Yep, it doesn't help to come in with the crappy outlook on the day. I mean,
so many everywhere you look, and
Yep.
You gotta be the one to shine that light.
I like it. All right, I do have one variation today. I'm in the midst of switching the my index providers because I want to be. I've been talking with some other folks, and I've been looking at things with the excuse me, McClellan summation index and whatnot. We'll get to that some other talk or whatnot. But in order to use that on kind of various time frames, I need to use full kinetic data. So because I don't have VIX and SPX and whatnot over there yet, there just won't be VIX today until they get that stuff switched for me in the back end. So no VIX today. I don't normally pull up SPX, but once in a while and look at it. So until I get those index providers switched, we won't have any VIX prep.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Yep. And so with SVXY, it's not too bad. It looks like it's going to open kind of flat-ish. It's trying to hold that trend line that we had noted last week, dipped below a few times and then held, looks like damn near to the tick on Thursday and Friday. Let's see, what had that been? Wednesday, it tagged it, and the 200 day. Thursday, it doesn't matter, but it looks pretty clean in comparison to other things we've seen recently. The trend guide reversal annual pivot point zone is pretty close to that monthly trend guide one, which at the moment will have photo ADRs and quarterly pivot. You could, I guess, break them into two zones like we have, or you could potentially combine the annual pivot with this stuff here below and leave trend guide reversal all by itself. That's kind of how it drew it. We said let's just combine the annual pivot and daily trend guide, just with where that trend line and stuff is. So that's kind of the way that I was looking at it. And then actually on the upside, had moved this around a little bit and included it. It wasn't in the original output to include the weekly trend guide, monthly trend guide, and the 20 and 50 day combo EMAs. They're right on top of each other at this point and coming down, pretty quickly into that next zone there. So don't know it's a today thing. It's possible. Full ADRs isn't terribly far from it. So, and then the other thing actually is it got finally, after lots of talking about it, did get done. We'll see how it tracks this week, what bugs I got to work out. But I've got in tracking for the weekly ADR. So just like we look at ADRs on a daily basis for, what is it today, obviously, but then yesterday, 5-day, 10-day, and 20-day, doing a similar approach with the weekly ADR. So looking at what was last week's, what was the last 2 weeks, and then moved up to say, well, what is it for the last 4 weeks? And then again, try to break it out into full and photo on the weekly perspective. And ideally these will move around based upon where the ADRs are for the week. And if it proves that it's not working, doesn't help, then we'll pull it out. But I think it'll be similar to kind of the weekly cheats and give a good kind of idea. So,
Yeah, that's really neat.
thanks. I don't know why I put it off. It was kind of less work than I thought it was, but it's more about a time
I
thing.
like how you put the daily ADRs on the left-hand corner there at the bottom. I just realized, I don't know if you had that for a while, but I just realized that. I was like, oh, okay, that's cool.
Yeah, more times than not, like it was always in the way up here in the upper left. So yeah, I've had them in the lower left here for quite some time just because it's a little bit more out of the way.
I just realized that.
I need to redo it. I don't really like how it's just, yeah, I don't like that. It's not mine. That's not why I want to redo it, but I do want to redo it because there's some other things I'd like to see in there instead. And I don't think it's necessary to show like 20, 10, 5, like just break it into that same full in photo concept. So anywho, I think that's SVXY. There wasn't really a whole lot else with it. So this one here, we combined the one above with that one. Trend strength that we reclaim it, there's a handful of different weekly and daily anchored VWAPs in this area from various time frames. Which wouldn't be a bad thing if you want to keep seeing things move for sure, but pretty straightforward. Let's fix the. Excuse me. Okay, like I said.
Sneeze?
Hmm?
Is that a sneeze?
No, it was a cough.
Oh. You alright?
Yep. Not enough coffee yet. Don't know why coffee has to do with coughing, but you know. I still want more coffee. Okay, so SPY. We could see this differently. I marked up 2 inside zones just with the way that we'd been over and under and kind of through this weekly pivot point area this past week, but wanted to include it because it is the March 13th daily anchored VWAP. And you know, we kind of we held that area on Friday. Really never got a close below that, you know, now newly printed weekly pivot point. And it didn't want to drag it all the way down so that you went from trend strength reference point at 390, whatever it was, all the way down to like 388, 390, 388, 388-ish area. So, and the other reason was like this, I kind of viewed as important. Like we couldn't really, there's a handful, a little bit of structure back through there in these previous days with bar closes and wicks. So, and there's the daily anchored VWAP here actually from March 6th at the highs. If I drag this back up actually a little bit. Probably a little bit better there. And then above that, you've got kind of a wider trend guide zone, but I mean, there's a handful of evidence in there with the structure, which is what's trying to be marked with that horizontal ray, the 200-day simple moving average, the tier 1 daily cheat, supply and demand, obviously. So there's just a bunch of stuff there. It didn't really make sense to remove one over the other pieces, so kind of why I broke that out. And then you can see there's also a daily anchored VWAP from February 2nd kind of lining right up with that stuff in there too for the highs. So kind of a bigger important zone to me. Same thing with the upside on the where you got your full ADRs, weekly trend guide. There's a gap fill in there, and again both the 20 and 50 day in that spot. What the heck? Something looks off to me on this. Hold on a second.
What's off?
My 200-day doesn't look right in comparison to everything else. because on this chart I have it as E, not S. That's what it should look like. That's what was looking funky. Okay, so there's not a daily anchor VWAP there with that one. That was throwing me. If you track 200 EMA, then I guess that'd be an issue, but that's not a standard one to measure. So, anywho, that's it for the upside. Really, you get above this this upside zone here, where you do actually have a monthly. Yeah, it's December 30th. Monthly anchor VWAP there on that one. Right at kind of the 20-day. So if we break above that, really that's kind of the upside. You've got the tier 2 daily cheat right there. If we get above that, like you start getting into some open area for sure. And then below again, trend guide, monthly trend guide, supply and demand. And then further down below, you break that, and I mean, at this point, you start to think you're going to go capture these the lows from last week and whatnot. Bottom edge of the range box we've been in for quite a while. Quarterly pivots, there's all kinds of stuff down here in this lower zone. The one that would be super interesting is if we do come all the way down here is the COVID low monthly anchor VWAP. So it's actually the other thing that we worked on and got finished up from last week into this week is including the tracking of monthly anchor VWAPs into the defined portion. It's not into the bigger confluence algorithm yet, but it is into the find. And so this line right here, which actually measures up with a gap fill, is the monthly anchor VWAP from March 2020 lows. We're not really in a sell side. We're kind of below what the minimum spot is on the 20-day symmetrical extreme, but we're not really into the average. You can see we're much closer to the minimum side. So we can still definitely dig deeper. And you can see a lot of times in the past when we start going through this area, we start digging deeper there. We don't spend just a day or two with kind of this move we've had. But happy to take either direction. Just got to focus and take the right action. I'm just going to go ahead and mark it up from there. And we'll add a couple of notes in here. So if I can click on the text and not the arrow. Headed weekly pivot point, structure, March 13th, baby WAP. And then down here, quarterly pivot, range box, gap fill, monthly VWAP, COVID low. Okay, ES. I'm going to skip cues because somebody else has already done and posted those in the room basically, so we may come back and highlight them later, but really just going to move to ES. Just heads up too, by the way, if you look here, anybody that's in the room, like I did actually go through this weekend and readjusted some of my supply and demands, just looking at different things and whatnot. Feels kind of nice seeing one of the ones that I adjusted hit pretty damn near to the tick overnight on the lows there. So either I got lucky or I'm doing something right. It does feel kind of nice, not gonna lie. So with that, kind of the way that I structure these so far, right? If we blow through the full ADRs on the upside, really kind of see two possible zones above. You've got that 40-20-ish area with the weekly anchored VWAP, tier 2 cheat, supply and demand high, which would also be an extreme on the ADR tier, push you up into about 3%, give or take. Break that, and actually let me scroll left here a little bit. Since we put the ID tracking stuff on here, you can actually see it was the Wednesday highs, Monday to Wednesday highs, the IB stat from a couple weeks ago. So there is some structure actually, and obviously it's top supply and demand, so there's gonna be some anyways. But that's a nice one. And then if we keep going and kind of break further, then we get into a much bigger spot with that annual pivot, weekly trend guide, monthly supply and demand. I mean, now you're into supermassive, which is why I'd marked that red. So you could probably even consider the 40-20-ish area pretty outside. That'd be another 20 some points on the full ADRs, and full ADRs is up near, going to be up near like 100 points. So, and I think a couple weeks ago we were doing like 130 or something like that for the day. So, anyway, so that's on those upside ones there. We did skip over, so there's a div kind of level that we marked, which is full ADRs. There's gap fill and DPOC right in this area. You've got the 50-day EMA in there, which also has a falling, looks like monthly anchored VWAP right there. Yeah, December 30th, 28th, whatever. I can't see that. Look over here, maybe I have it marked. Yeah, it's a little bit too shallow. It is still there. And 50-day, regardless, is a pretty important moving average. So got that, and then did drag it up a little bit to capture some of the looking left. You get some wicks and stuff in there going left and whatnot. Candidly, if we skip through this area, through the trend guide, photo, 20-day, etc., I don't know how much I want to care about this one in there. Especially because this block here, this daily trend guide reversal block, the 20-day tier 1 cheat, had been the previous 10-day and kind of range that we've been in for the last while point of control. So if you go back and look for quite a long period of time, like this area really has been like the point of control for everything. So and you actually, this is a bigger zone, but you can see overnight, like we couldn't even get a wick, much more than a wick, I should say, sorry. Like, we just didn't want to close above the supply and demand here. Below that, we sliced right through in the overnight, the trend strength reference point, weekly pivot area. We tried to open and kind of dance above it a little bit, and then came into that, again, upside zone, failed, pushed all the way down. Really on an hourly basis, just blowing right through the trend guide reversal zone. And then kind of the EU time frame as usual. Actually, that probably got the London Open there. Yeah, 4 o'clock's when that bar ended, so it'd be EU Open. London Open's, I think, at 3 exactly. So, and now we're trying to see if we want to push through last week's point of control. I'm not really sure what else. I mean, I think ES, spent a bit of time looking at it. Yesterday's is revising the supply and demands, and then the this morning. So I think it, to me, was pretty clean. Did include a bigger kind of outside zone if we do decide to really fail today. We've got this kind of much bigger zone down here at the 3830, 3820 level, which actually has last week's lows included in there. It'd be massive because it'd be today's tier 3 daily cheats, tier 1 end of week, some naked VAs in there and whatnot, so that'd be pretty massive if we decided to go all the way down to that level. And ES's monthly anchor VWAP from the COVID lows is also back in that time frame too. So that goes all the way back to March of 20, and we're in that one. So that's up just a touch above there. So it'd be really, really big on that part. And I think, nope, it's not there. I was thinking about a different indicator or different chart, I guess. So anyway, that to me is ES. It yeah.
A little bit late on this one, but on the RTH for ES, you could do like a 3 drives from the recent low on March, whatever this is, 10th, 13th. From that low, and then the higher low. I know you don't really like drawing these EBCDs, but it was to the tick pretty much at the highs on Friday.
Yeah, I can see it
Thursday.
from what Monday the 13th to Tuesday the 14th highs, and then come back.
Yes,
Yeah, I can see that on.
Pretty much hit the ABCD to the tick at the highs on Thursday, and then was it Thursday?
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, on Thursday. So then there's a third leg that takes us to monthly pivot point, annual pivot point, or that whole cluster over there. On that third leg.
Yeah, that's a really big zone to me too up there, and that was part of what I was saying. I don't know if you heard me, but I went through and spent a bunch of time yesterday. I was revising my supply and demand, so there's probably going to be, not probably, there will be differences, because I was going through and moving these around, and so I was pretty happy this morning to come in and see, happy that I took my exit last night when I did on the long that I had from the open, but really more excited to see like the supply and demand. I either got really lucky or I know what I'm doing, and it hit to the tick there.
You're right. Really nice.
So it is kind of close to the other ones, but like if I look back on the dailies and a bunch of the other ones, like there's just been a lot of interaction and we had marked a bunch of times with the horizontal ray the 38.97 1/4 level, and that's what it stopped on. So yeah.
Beautiful.
But yeah, no, I could see. I did kind of look at that, and then I took it off just because it had completed, and then I didn't put it on there this morning when I was doing the rest of my review and prep and whatnot. Now, flip side though is if we keep failing from here, so we're trying to reject obviously this swing AVWAP here. We got a couple of rejections, but like we could potentially be setting up for something like this here too.
Yep.
I have no idea how it's going to happen, but that is also something to be ready for. I don't think there was actually any news of the sorts today. I'm going to double check that here in 1 second. So for today, yeah, there's just Germany PPI at 3 a.m. Eastern.
Yeah.
There's nothing else. Of course, there'll be. Go ahead.
Given the current state of like all the markets and stuff, like all these banks getting together and whatnot, I wouldn't be surprised if that's like just news out of nowhere.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I saw the stuff with Credit Suisse over the weekend.
Right.
Seeing all kinds of crazy things flying about how the Saudis had put in, a lot of money, and now it's down something like 90% in just a few weeks.
Right.
I can't remember what the hell Kramer recommended again, but it was like absolute inverse as usual. It was like, how is that guy not in jail for his, it's one thing if we say like, hey, we kind of like this, we don't know, we're certainly not financial advisors or anything. He's on TV I like this here. This is really good. Buy. Bullshit. Like, anyway, that guy just ticks me off.
Grinds my gears.
Yeah, something like that.
I'll be right back, dude.
Yep. Oh, nice hold of session VWAP there. Okay, so NQ, I'm going to zoom this out for a minute here real quick. I almost need to be able to move this other desk on the side up and down. Of course, I mean, I have to move the monitor up and down too. And before you tell me, just get a stand, it's a 43-inch monitor, so it's not like it's going to be moving up and down real easily. So I've adjusted these already this morning. I'm just looking to see if we need to make any other adjustments to them. Well, I say that 12.710 level we have marked. There was the top edge of this. Yeah, it's that falling. Where's it coming from? I think it's from the secondary. Yeah. The March, April highs of last year. And photo ADRs has moved a bit from where we had it originally. That's okay. I think in general this is pretty good here. I think what we do want to do though is mark up a possible div area here. So 867. Yeah, I don't think we want to go down and capture the photo ADRs there though. And I don't think we want to drag it all the way up there because that's 100 points. That's pretty wide in my mind for a div. I think we'll drag it like this. Start getting yourself prepared over there. And treat a div kind of like that there a little bit. And then really we break above there, then you've got that outside zone that we've got marked with weekly trend guide reversal and whatnot. I mean, there's stuff above there, but look, if we get to that full ADR zone, we're going to be up 350, so not up, but we'll have traded 350 points already. And then you've got another 100 plus points to weekly trend guide, tier 3 daily cheat, extreme ADR tier at 4%. So, like, you know, sure, if we keep going, then yeah, watch for the quarterly trend guide, 2 tier 1 end of week cheats, and then you've got a little bit higher with supply and demand low. We did not relook at any of our NQ supply and demands. We just focused on the ES side this weekend. Again, middle, you got a decent size zone there that we tried to push from and hold a little bit overnight, and then ultimately came down and tagged the trend guide, tier 1 daily cheat in that area, and swing AV WAP from March 15th at noon. There's another one that we have marked on that day too, which was the overnight lows. That there's some news there that kind of drove that one at the bottom edge. So that may be something that we go back and retest in a real-time hour there. And that one is kind of go and get everybody excited to go tag the kind of range, higher value node that we've seen in there. Maybe touch the full or photo ADRs. We want to go even deeper. That would of course take us into the next zone with photo ADR, weekly pivot, full ADR. Wednesday's highs of last week, because that was the weekly IB stat there, which would have been Wednesday's highs. And then just beneath that, which will probably continue to move up into the zone with volume, would be the March 13th swing AV WAP from 8 a.m. And then yeah, if we lose all that, then you've got another 100 plus points down. You get to some structure at that 12,339 area, monthly pivots, tier 3 daily cheat. You get the 20-day in there, which also has a daily anchored VWAP for the look set up there. So that could be a really interesting zone at that one. That is coming from, it looks like March 13th daily anchored VWAP on that one. So that would be a pretty nice one. Yeah, look, March 10th actually. They're over there on the right on the screen. So I think that's pretty clean for NQ. Cesar would probably tell us if he were here that, hey, you probably got like and we extended that as usual for NQ. And the question will be is, do we just set up another one here from IB low monthly pivot on the 16th to Friday's highs to there, and that's pretty cool on that one. If that does come out to play today, it was a really clean signal overnight there too, with kind of the top edge of supply and demand, daily trend guide and stuff there, and that swing anchor VWAP. Really would be cool if we decide to come back and retest real time hours. Doesn't help much with the ABCD pattern, but you know, maybe we get something nice there. I'm gonna pause for 1 sec, folks, and grab some more coffee here real quick. Alright, that is making itself away. Nice and fresh coffee. Oh, too funny. Okay, so I think that is NQ there. Again, if we do want to push and kind of fulfill that, you know, possible ABCD, something that should keep on watch and whatnot, especially if we decide to go up and test that trend guide. I mean, not a straight path. There'd be some pullbacks and whatnot. And maybe it's over the course of 2 days we go in and attack that between today and tomorrow. That would be a pretty nice one. It would be a good way to kind of end on a sell signal too for the day. Fade into the overnight and then kind of rise back in the morning. And in fact, we're going to mark this, seeing that ABCD there. Interesting too, NQ is starting to really get up there too. Makes me worry that we're being overly bullish there and not considering some of the other possibilities. And so do we need to consider these zones here below? Be really massive. Full ADRs is here, 12.4. It'd be another 300 points. So you'd be talking 600 something. Of course, here on the upside, I'm talking 868. So it'd be 450. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna mark. We're gonna. Yeah, we're going to mark it up there like that for NQ. You do want to keep in mind that it is definitely up there a bit on its 20-day SE and starting to get there on some of the upper sides for the 50. This is now no longer a zone, but a div. Okay, RTY. RTY, and the flip side is into a buy side SE. Of course, it makes sense with its heavy weighting on the regional banks. And holy crap, just notice the gold continued to fade there after its big pop into 2016, 2017-ish area. And rejected. It's at a lower high there at 1990, give or take. This is a key area. When I looked last night here, this 1980-ish level. And I have to keep an eye on that. In any event, RTY. Chose to not on this one mark the weekly trend guide one there. It did show some stuff. I guess you could mark up a div on it given the where the swing AVWAP is on it. I mean, I guess maybe that's what we should do here is actually pull this down. Capture that kind of naked VA area and trend guide there, and then drag this up here like this. Capture the MVPOC, the gap fill, trend guide, weekly trend guide reversal, I should say. Which has been that way now for 2 weeks in a row. Not a big surprise, but just interesting note. And it may seem silly, folks, but I'm doing that so that this shows up on all my charts that way too. So I can see the pivot stuff behind it more cleanly. Okay, yeah, so I think that is how we'll mark that. This really is getting close to those October lows here at this point. You see that's kind of why I marked on here these kind of two bigger, zones here on the downside with full ADRs, and then really not but 50 points beneath there. So if we find out at some other bank or something else, I mean, maybe we do go and tack and do a lower low on this this stuff back here. And saying that and looking at this. Maybe even do a higher low off of it. $16.48.4, so actually would line up with this wick right here, actually. Close enough to it, which is actually the wick that we already had marked too, so actually can just delete that here and take care of it for us. So I think that's RTY. I'm not going to really get through a whole lot else with it. It is actually pretty well structured. I do like last night didn't didn't take this, thought about it, and just didn't feel like managing anything and wanted to kind of walk away and do something else for a while. Plus, dinner was ready. That was kind of a nice clue again, just like the tier 1 daily cheat overnight, NQ, same thing overnight there on both sides. Really kind of nice, nice guides. Again, think of those cheats almost akin to almost akin to ADRs. They're not quite as finite as that, and of course, just like ADRs, they can be blown through. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and mark all that up. You've got a nice one right here with, can't see where that daily anchor VWAP is from, but it's right there at the setting up for the look at that one. At the 20 and the 200's in there. We removed that one because it's just all in the middle of everything. So you do have a little bit of stuff there at 1800 to 1795. It felt like too much, too back to back, and really this was the bigger zone and more interesting one to pay attention to. So you could watch this for possible div here with the swing A VWAP, top edge supply and demand, a naked VA there. So that is something you'd keep an eye on. And then, like I said, we noted a couple of possible divs here. So, possible div for pi, WTGR1, gap fill, and VPOC. Swing A VWAP, 2-day lows. So you got that, like we just said, and then above there, or sorry, beneath there, we have the other one that we marked as a possible div with some structure, tier 3, day cheat, tier 1, week cheat. I don't know how to give a whole lot of weight. If we go through here, probably going to be giving more weight and watching more for this lower block here at this 1647-ish area. So if we have something with the banks come out, you know, I would probably be watching and looking for something in this area and seeing some reaction off of this, given the October, September lows, as well as kind of those June lows back in here as well. So some bigger-ish areas there on RTY, and it's definitely already into a buy side SE, but it's certainly not the extreme. That would probably push it down here to that negative 10, 9.9 if we do go all the way down to that level there. Because you can see, yeah, I mean, that'd be a pretty good size and good area there if we do keep going. Alright, so that's RTY. I'm going to paste these in a couple places, check some of these messages that just came in. Are not relevant, so that's okay. We can move on. Yes, we can. Oh no, there's not enough important. Okay, so YM. Alright, that's right. So YM held this kind of falling, what was that message? That was a think or swim message. Interesting. We'll have to watch that. That was an interesting alert that just went off. So YM. So this lower edge here has been a 3-year kind of low value node on the profile stuff, which actually, interestingly, lines up with the down channel and up channel, really. So trying to make this decision, was this just a kind of fake breakout and keep failing here and set up for this much bigger, especially if you look on a week or monthly basis. Come all the way down, get everybody excited. It's probably like a 61.8 highs to lows there, and then go down further. So in any event, this bottom edge here is kind of a bigger zone in our minds. We didn't mark it. It's a div, obviously, but it is kind of a lot of stuff in there with full ADRs. Again, that 3-year profile of volume node, daily cheat, and then these trend lines there. So pretty interesting one. Monthly trend guide reversal is all by itself. And so we did not mark that up or include it even as a separate part. Would really kind of be watching and wanting to see where the market's going in general if we do decide to take something here. Would probably be much more interested at this bigger level here down below at weekly trend guide reversal 2, which has been that way, as you can see, for 9 weeks now. We've been in a kind of a down move there. And in fact, if we look on the daily, this may just have completed all of that. Yeah. So I would almost want to make the arguing point that we're trying to build up a bunch of buy side demand in this area here, kind of accumulation, given these wicks over the last 7 days, give or take. So I have no idea. I could be 100% wrong. But it is pretty interesting that we completed the ABCD and getting kind of really a lot of wicks in this 31,900, 31,600 area there. So, and again, it's kind of been that low volume node on that side. In any event, moving through the upside zones there, really that's the bottom zone there. On the upside zones, you got trend strength, monthly trend guide reversal. There's an NVPOC in there. It looks like there's also the gap fill from last week is kind of hidden and tucked away in there. Moving above that, you've got weekly pivot, photo ADRs. I would remove that actually and drag it down to be like this. And I would capture it like that, actually, in my mind, and then take this one and make it smaller and really not put a whole lot of weight on it. I would also, I'd say, want to mark this as an inside zone. I mean, we've just been over and under through that stuff. Obviously, it's this week's weekly pivot, but we've just been through there a lot, and yeah, just not, if anything, you'd probably give more weight to, are we above or below the 10-day point of control? And the fact that we are kind of rejecting the last week's point of control would give me some pause for concern there. In any event, on the upside there, I actually want to take this up now with where and how things are trading and include that structure we've marked for something with the 32,421 and gap fill and VPOC 200-day, so kind of a nicer one there. This would have been ADRs at some point, but that has all moved down significantly, so I would say we dump this div. Check what this message just said here for folks for 1 second. Yeah. Okay. Moving back on, I'm going to just kind of mark that there with why I'm not terribly tracking or watching it here. It just doesn't have anything that looks extraordinarily unless we get down to some of these deeper levels here, which I'm going to actually take and mark this one as an outside zone. Because, well, that's what it is. Yeah, we're just going to mark YM like that. It's not a big one. This area, though, like I said, is pretty interesting that we keep wanting to, we keep getting a bunch of big wicks through here. I mean, these are not insignificant, even on the daily. Like, those are pretty massive 200, 300, 400, 500, plus wicks on these, so... Yeah, I am on the daily, not the 3-day that I was using to check out some other things. I'm not marking that zone. That would be 1,000 points. It's there. It's not significant enough for us. I'll mark this one. We'll mark this div, even though it's not quite the same thing. And no, we're not going to mark that div. This was the div we're marking. And then we said on this one we're going to mark this. So it's going to be div 3-year low volume node. Overnight lows, full ADRs, tier 2, day cheat, structure last week, lows. Trend line, wick area. Okay. Let's go check out energy. So I guess we have prep already loaded for CL. I have not had time to actually flip through and look at this one at all. So it's probably going to be messy. We will see. Woo, we're pushing that buy side SEs in here for sure. Nice hold overnight of the tier 1 daily cheat. I mean, to the friggin' tick. With trend guide reversal there. Really good, nice hold there. Again, kind of London open. Yep, London open. Nice push at that same moment in time. Gonna take this one here. This zone actually. Sometimes I really hate supply and demand zones because they get in the way of everything else. Or maybe I should hate something else, the tool, because it wants to not listen to what I want to select. $63.52. That's too wide of a zone. What I'm debating on is if we want to mark this here. The thing I don't like about that is 62.43 is a pretty big area if I remember. Yeah, I'd actually kind of argue the 6150, looking at the wicks and everything through here, is a bigger area. Yeah, 6150-ish area. Let's mark the 6243 on the chart once and see where it comes up at. Let's take it actually off of the monthly and look at it on the daily perspective. Okay, so it captures that December of 21 low there, and we're obviously super, super close to it. So, so how interesting is this zone versus saying just coming down and grabbing this other stuff here below? At 6150, this kind of area here looks more important to me than anything else. Although that 6243 would be pretty nice. I'd almost say, let's take this. It's really just all by itself there. And so maybe let's watch it like this. And with how this traded actually overnight, I think I would maybe watch it like this with the wick closes. Suppose you're going up to the bottom edge of supply and demand. I don't know what the fuck this zone is. I don't care about that. And we've shown really no interaction with it. We'd take the middle zone here, capture the gap fill, trend strength, and I'd probably drag this down to the top edge of the candles as opposed to the wicks. And that's, yeah, you can actually see in here 67.12. I mean, you've got the overnight high there, but if we take out the trend strength, yeah, maybe we div up and go a little bit higher. I just don't know. I would take this zone here actually and drag it down a little bit because that swing anchor VWAP is going to keep falling.
I keep sliding on the pole?
I don't know what you're sliding on, man. Nobody's. There's no poles here. I don't. You and Kevin James just want to be going and playing on poles or something. And you probably have no idea what I'm talking about, do you?
No. No idea.
You remember the comedy King of Queens?
No.
Okay, so you know who Kevin James is, right?
No.
You know Kevin James?
I don't watch TV, man. I grew up in the mountains.
Okay, Kevin James, he did a bunch of movies. He did one with Will Smith where he's courting some hot chick. Forget her name.
No clue what you're talking about.
He did a comedy where he was a story writer that somehow got roped into being like an action hero or some crap. He's still not doing it for you.
Hold on. Kevin James?
Yeah.
American comedian? Oh, I've seen this dude before. Yeah.
So he was in a sitcom years ago. And
If you would have said Paul Blart, I would have known who that was.
yeah, I didn't think that movie was all that good, sorry.
It was
Mall Cop, yeah.
Oh, the King of Queens. Yeah, I've seen that one too. I've seen that show.
Alright, so there's one where they installed a stripper pole in their bedroom. So now that's what I think, you keep talking, you've got this infatuation with poles or something, so like you...
No.
Yeah?
You have an infatuation with poles. I would just say the obvious.
Yeah, no, we don't have any of that crap here. Already enough problems with my teenage son. I think actually I'd get rid of this as a separate one and actually take this zone down and capture it like this.
Yeah.
And then that becomes a really massive zone. So you've got your full ADRs, quarterly trend guide reversal, daily trend guide, structure through there. I mean, and then you got your monthly trend guide. So that's really a massive zone. It is about $1, so it's about 100 ticks in there, but that's a really massive zone. And so then the question is do we have something at weekly pivots and structure at that 7008 level? And I gotta copy and paste that over real quick because I don't remember what was here. So that would be that would be a nasty rejection if we do that. So yeah, I think we should copy that zone. This would be the tier 2 daily cheat, the end of week cheat. We've already traded $3, so that'd be an additional $2 move. 5-day was 486. Yeah, I'd say we keep this one here and include all of this. You've got your tier 2 daily cheat, you've got your gap fill, end of week, which at this point, given how, the fact that we're oversold, it would not surprise me to blow past these. And this was kind of the setup with Tesla a while back. Like we just continue to blow through these kind of end of week cheats. I think last week we closed at or below the tier 2 or tier 3 end of week cheat. And so at some point you get kind of a snapback rally. It either does like what Tesla does or just has a bit of a bounce and then continues its trend. But I am not going to keep this one here. Stupid thing. I selected this. There you go. Good job. And this zone does not need to be that wide, nor do I expect it to even come close to hitting today. Anyway, that's how I see that. This was a pretty nice one overnight there, like I said, for sure. It's interesting. Most things today actually hit at the London Open, not the other one. Okay, so we've got that zone there. We have this one that we're keeping and including. We have this really major zone here. Okay, and GC. All right, GC. And we are definitely up into a sell side SE here. Check out the nice trend line there. That may have been pushed. We may not get more here. This was kind of a nice hold last week that we all wish that we had caught and didn't get. And I'm pretty sure that guy is well invalidated. Yep. Ooh, that's interesting.
What is?
This is the monthly chart. I always read too much into things, but does that not look like a big stick? Can't say the other thing because you read too much into things, but does that look, like a flag actually.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And reclaiming that zone over there now, just pushing above it. So we can break the top end of that. I was gonna say I read too much into things. When you started the whole thing saying I read, you read into it.
I did not say what you got. You guys both had your minds in the gutter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see how it goes. You got somebody out there, feeding people beers to get them to puke in the Chicago River. You guys are making up words and putting them in people's mouths. I see how it goes. That's all right.
You gotta admit it, that was pretty legit.
Yeah, that's not a hard thing to do on St. Patty's Day.
Oh man, that's hilarious. I was laughing my ass off for that.
Yeah, I thought about calling my brother and saying, "Hey, I know somebody that's gonna." His fiance probably wouldn't have liked that in the first place, but it's like he doesn't need to be going and getting crap faced either. He's watching his nephew. And it's a big ass city. I don't remember exactly where the hell he even lives in the city. That's interesting. That was the overnight level I was watching. We held to a freaking tick there earlier. That was a $70 move on Friday. I mean, that's crazy. I mean, how many times has that happened before? This is on a percentage basis here. And the reason why I want to mark this is I want to see how many times we have back-to-back or within a day or two type of things. Even bigger move, extended move, big move, and then nothing. Today, although we've traded 42 points already. Also recently. Big move, big move. Yeah. And part of the reason for wondering and looking at that is I want to see like how important and do we even mark these upside zones? Because now we're at the spot that everybody is going to want to start shorting this, and so do we just keep pushing? Is this like the JKS type of moment? If you remember that one from back in 21, where it just kept going and because everybody and their brother kept shorting until it hit that final breaking point, like 105, 110 or something like that, and then it had its big crack day. And with the stuff they keep doing in the banks, like, what's to keep this from just keep pushing like that?
Oh, yeah.
don't know why the hell I clicked the button to put a frickin' VWAP there.
I like that AR1 zone.
Yeah. When that was the monthly one that we just marked to. I think we'd actually. Now, would you take it and extend it 10 points wide?
Probably, because that's a huge zone, man.
Well, yeah, I mean, and I guess that'd be an even bigger zone, though. That would, that'd be a 90-point move for the day, right?
Yeah. I think my pivots might be off on this one, because I have a weekly with on above AR1. Like, they're pretty much in the same zone, and they're together with the monthly as well.
Yeah, is that right? NYMEX ETH?
No, I have, for whatever reason, US Index Futures ETH. Why do I not have NYMEX? Yeah, they're all CME US.
I thought this one was supposed to be NYMEX Energy for its pivots. I could be completely wrong, but I thought that's
what. I'm checking all my charts here. Yeah, CME UDEC. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong thing. Never mind.
Okay.
I'm looking at the wrong thing. I'm tripping. Still Monday. Okay, let me check this out. Yeah, same thing.
So the other reason for asking is, like, if this weekly ADR stuff does play out, you've got weekly ADRs there. I mean, having AR1 is just a little tiny ass zone. Like, doesn't make a ton of sense to me. I mean, you could take it, and instead of going to that spot, which would be a massive freaking move, go like this for today. So if you blow through full ADRs, which is an extreme, 70 some points again. So this would be 90, but this would be even bigger, right? So because just this full ADR spot would be 71 points. And so coming up into that, I mean, yeah, I don't know if that's a today thing or not. I don't know that I'd mark it any further. And we really need to see what and how this weekly stuff acts first, I guess. Now, flip all of that. If we decide to have today being the crack day, which I don't think we will, that would be a pretty massive zone to the lows. Give back everything with the potential div right there. But it looks like we're already setting up for another ABCD here anyways. This is probably a 23.6 retracement. Go tag the weekly trend guide. Div to collect weekly trend guide reversal 3, maybe. Wow. In any event, I think that's a pretty good set of hypos and markups for the day.
Good stuff, my man. Really, really, really great stuff. Thank you so much.
Yep, you're very welcome. Thank you. I know I've been saying this. I'll get you a build here soon. I keep adding things and making adjustments. So.
Are you good? I'm happy with the build you got right now. I know you got extra stuff.
Yeah, I think I'll actually call it here this week, and so if the I'll watch this photo ADR stuff for the weekly in full, and if they work, and I want another week with this pivot stuff, so I'm actually caching. Like, there's no need to go back and re-pull down all of the annual pivot, quarterly, monthly, weekly, every single day you load up. And so I've actually been in the last couple of weeks of testing cache on that to improve the load time. So on Friday it goes, oh shit, you got new weekly bars. Okay, I'm gonna go get the new weekly bar data, and it'll grab that. And same thing with monthly and quarterly and whatnot. So
That
far,
is really nice.
yeah, so far it seems like it's working.
Quality of life thing.
Yeah, I want to see how March ends on that one, really. On some of the stuff, it doesn't matter, right? If you use fine VWAPs, then it doesn't matter, right? Because it's downloading months and months and months or weeks and weeks of data to calculate those VWAPs and stuff. But did I forget to paste in CL? Or did I do it in the other room? I did it in the other room. So let me paste it in our room here as well. Yeah, GCCL. All right, cool.
All right, brother. Wish you a fantastic day, my man.
Thanks, you too. Appreciate it. We'll catch up with you later.
Take care.
All right, bye now. So that is it, folks. That has been a pretty nice, good review session for the day. Hopefully, folks are able to take something away from that. Really like some of those possible zones on ES and NQ. Really interesting here if we do keep pushing on the ES and ones. They're definitely getting some wicks here off of Globex session, VWAP, 200 day for ES. Swing A VWAP really from the lows as well from the looks of it. Yeah, so this could set up for that kind of bigger ABCD that we noted earlier on NQ to go attack some of that bigger level stuff. So yeah, hope everybody has a great one, and we will catch y'all later.